and they're about to swing left and onto the second last climb of the stage. The last official climb, we've of course got the uphill to the finish on the Vesten. The cobbles begin. The Dender Ordered Berg, 700 metres long, 53 metres ascent, average gradient of 7.5%, a maximum of 11. It really is a tough one at the end of a 182 kilometre stage. The intensity with which this stage has been ridden, but Alex Segaert and Jenno Berckmoes, they've looked quite incredible from the moment they went away after the top of the mood the last time. Pithy still holding his own. The peloton not quite got him in their sights as he hits the bottom. A look over the shoulder from Pithy. He knows they're coming. And this has got to be the moment to go, Matt. If you're in the peloton and you're not banking on being able to win in a sprint, this is the moment to have a crack. Philipsen near the front.
Yeah, you have to go here now, because interestingly enough, I just ran another time check there on a point on the side, and they're still holding them at 30 seconds from the peloton to the breakaway. So it's not really coming closer at the moment, and you would expect now the non-sprinters here have to use this as a launch pad. They have to hit out here, and we see that from the rider from Uno X.
Yeah, Rasmus. No. In fact, Warenschild himself setting the pace over the top. Now, Segaert and Berckmoes, that gap now dropped to just 16 seconds. So that gap has been more than halved in 500 metres on this climb. And now Unibet Rosa Rockets take it into their own hands. It's not for Dylan Groenewegen today. It's for the classic style riders, Artes de Vries.
Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe also in the action here. Ineos Grenadier, or Net Company Ineos, sorry, also finding themselves off the front here in a small splinter group, and the gap now to the breakaway has fallen as they come into 5 kilometres to go. But interestingly enough, I just saw there Jasper Philipsen come round the corner around 12th position in the peloton, which is being led by Matteo Trentin at the moment to close this gap down. So Jasper Philipsen, the race leader, still really in there and really in position.
Yeah, holding his own really well, Jasper Philipsen, able to ride off the wheels of the others. They all chase each other. The gap now back out to 10 seconds for these two. So they've ridden good tempo on that climb, and there were big, violent accelerations in the peloton. EF Education, Easy Post pushing up towards the front. Now Valgren still is in this group. And this is Thomas Kopecki who's gone off the front. So Thomas Kopecki from the Unibet Rosa Rockets, the man who's got himself off the front of the peloton and tried to close across that gap to the two leaders. And it looks like he's going to be swallowed up before he gets anywhere near Segaert and Berckmoes. That's them in the distance, just rounding the bend. Single file line here in the peloton. We've still got the likes of Philipsen, Kooij, De Lie, all in this group, and saving their legs as much as possible for that final tilt up towards the line at the top of Geraardsbergen over the cobbles. But still plenty to be done to catch these two, because the gap is going back out.
Yeah, it certainly is. They've done fantastically well there to still hold them at this point. And if we see any sort of stall in the peloton now, it can be advantage to this breakaway, because it's not going to be long before they're in the long downhill stretch to take them down into the finish town. The gap's still holding around 15 seconds. So unless we see some real organisation on the front, this is going to be a very, very close final.
Yeah, Michael Valgren now from EF. He's got Florian Vermeers in the wheel, Matteo Trentin, Quentin Hademans as well up there, but the gap has grown back out to 15 seconds for Segaert and Berckmoes. So the peloton had them in their sights. They were closing in over that last cobbled climb, but the tempo of Segaert and Berckmoes has pulled them back away. They're onto that descent now down the Kiermaanlaan, so they'll get a little bit of respite. The gradient will help carry that speed, and a lot of looking around now, Matt. They're all looking at each other, nobody committing. That gap set to grow open even further.
Yeah, this is looking good here for these two leading riders, because now they're going all the way downhill to pretty much 1 kilometre to go. They've got that momentum, and it's going to be very difficult for the peloton to close it.
Oh, sweeping left about another 400 metres down this stretch. They got a big sweeping right-hander, brings them onto the bottom of the descent. They'll cross over the bridge, over the Dender once more, into town. They got the sharp right-hander, which brings them under 1 kilometre to go. Quite a technical run into the bottom of this final climb. There's not a lot of space for the peloton to make a big impression. Last big turns now coming from the peloton. Q36.5 trying to shut things down. 2 riders from Tudor. Matteo Trentin, one of them. He's been aggressive all stage long once we got in the hill zone, and he would have really been aiming at this stage to make his mark. They still have to catch these two who are hanging in there, and what an incredibly strong ride from Berckmoes and Segaert. Long right-hander, descent now done.
Yeah, it is. And what do these two riders have left in their legs for the last 750 metres? Averaging 5% in that last 750 metres, with the final part on the cobbles, on the clinkers up through the town. Do they have something in those legs to hold this peloton off? It's going to be very close. It looks like they're going to be caught almost in the finishing straight when the speed of the peloton is correct and the time gap that we see on the screen is right.
Well, still talking to each other, still encouraging each other, still trying to get the best from each other in this final run through the 1.5 kilometres to go. Dan Haller now comes to the front for Decathlon CMA CGM. Olav Kooij there in third wheel, on the wheel of one of the riders from Tudor Pro Cycling, and that's Luca Mozzato, the Italian who's up there, second in the Tour of Flanders in the past. So this is the sort of finish that he'll really like as well. He got a great turn of speed. 1K to go for the 2 leaders. Segaert and Berckmoes, the peloton swing around that bend as well. So they're lining up towards the finish now. The gap now under 10 seconds to the 2 leaders. Another sharp right-hander onto the main street of Geraardsbergen. The road dips down. They'll cross the Dender for a final time. They go over the bridge, and then the road will start to kick up in front of them on clinkers initially, take them all the way up to the marketplace in Geraardsbergen under the church. And Jenno Berckmoes now, big acceleration from the Belgian from Lotto-Intermarché. He carries the momentum onto the climb. He gaps Alex Segaert. He's onto the marketplace now, underneath the church. He'll take that sharp left. He's now onto the proper cobbles, and the gap has opened up 15 metres now between Berckmoes and Alex Segaert. This is where the gradient kicks up. One more big acceleration from Berckmoes. The gap opens up even more. The peloton not in sight. Jenno Berckmoes, he is on an absolute charge. Alex Segaert has cracked. The peloton just coming around the corner now. Teammate of Berckmoes, Arnaud De Lie, with Jasper Philipsen in his wheel. They're going to catch Alex Segaert. It's still a few hundred metres to go for Jenno Berckmoes. He's in the final 100 metres. Berckmoes is going to do it. Jenno Berckmoes, and it could be a 1-2, could it, for Arnaud De Lie behind. Jasper Philipsen comes over the top. It's Philipsen, Olav Kooij as well. Jenno Berckmoes gets the victory in Geraardsbergen. Philipsen, Kooij, De Lie, Donaldson. What a finish of that stage. And Jenno Berckmoes, that final explosion to the line, Matt, that was super.